Alright, so now we're on Clearfield Street. Clearfield and Kensington. This was a popular business district in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Around the time I graduated from high school, 2005, 2006. Around that time is, when this avenue slowly started going downhill. I'm not gonna say there was never substance abuse in this neighborhood. I'm not gonna say that they never distributed products in this neighborhood, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. I think the epidemic that hit this neighborhood really hard is fentanyl. That's probably like one of the worst things that could have ever happened to this neighborhood, because that took this neighborhood down a deep and dark hole. So this is Kensington. Used to be a very, very popular business district. Now it's all closed down. Closed, abandoned, and the ones that are open are struggling to make means. On my right hand side was the famous Four Sons. That was my favorite restaurant growing up as a kid. They sold off the business and Four Sons is no longer there. We're on K and A. K and A stands for Kensington and Allegheny. You can catch the train here, the blue line. Wherever you see this blue train track above us, you can catch the train there. And you can go to Northeast Philly, or you can go to Southwest Philly, you can go to South Philly, or you can catch transfers, catch the orange line and go to West Philly. So let's make a right here on 800 East Allegheny Avenue. The Walgreens on my left-hand side was looted to the max and it's shut down. On my right-hand side, there's a bunch of little small businesses, fronts. We're on the 3200 block of Jasper Street, Jasper and Allegheny. Now we're driving down Jasper and Wishart. My brother used to conduct business on this block. On my left-hand side, you'll see a couple guys conducting business. On my right-hand side was where my brother used to hang out. This is where he used to conduct business. And as always, if you're not out here conducting business, there'll be someone here to take your place. All right, we're gonna make a right on 1800 Clearfield Street. Okay, on my left-hand side, it appears to be a long line of people. I think they're giving out meals. Yeah, they're giving out meals. Probably meals to the less fortunate. Oh, and they're giving out clothes also. Guess they're giving out winter gear. So right here, you'll see this lady. She's just crouched over. I don't know why she's there. You want to cross? Would you like to cross, ma'am? No, you don't want to cross? Okay, so she's arched over. She probably has some type of spinal issue. Because she's really arched over. Normally, when you see people like that down here, they're usually under the influence. So they're dipping out heavy. But she was walking like that. So I'm going to assume that she probably has some type of spinal issue. That guy right there in front of us with the stick walking, man, I knew of him for probably like 20 plus years. He got so skinny. Wow, he got skinny. Back in the day, I think like in 98, 99, he installed a radio to my pop's car. Long time ago. He's still out here pushing, man. Still out here pushing. So this little avenue right here is usually pretty busy. It's busy all time of the year. It doesn't matter. Winter, summer, spring, fall, it's always busy, as you'll see. Alright, we're passing the 700 block of East Allegheny. We're crossing over G Street. Passing G and Hilton. Passing Madison. 800 East Madison. 800 East Willard. Gonna make a left right here on Westmoreland. Mom used to live right here on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, that parish, that church used to be open back in the day, but the church is all closed down. I think they still use a portion of it, but this main church right here that you see, that's closed down. You see the rectangular thing right there, there were steps, and they basically used cinder blocks and blocked up the steps, so you can't even walk there anymore. I shot a music video in that building before. Alright, so now we are crossing over to the 800, no, we're crossing over to the 600 block of Westmoreland, passing 3200 Keene Street, passing 3200 Tampa Street on my left-hand side. That will lead us back to E and Westmoreland. That Chinese store must have some type of agreement with the dealers that are out here, because the dealers conduct business in the Chinese store. And when I mean like hotcakes, I mean like like selling candy. Like, I mean, busy corner. Hartville, passing Roarer. And all up and down these avenues that I'm driving on, people have been shot, people have been robbed, people have been killed. Grants back, shout out to Old Dallas. Old Dallas. This is another popping strip right here. Not any of the heavy stuff, but the greenery. 3200 block of D Street. Passing 3200 Hurley, passing 3200 Bodenot, there's a name written right there on my right hand side. If you look on the right hand side of the screen and you look up, you'll see D-E-A-Z-O-E, Dees. His name was Dees. You see right there on the right, top right? He passed away. He was a graffiti artist. Literally, shortly after I had met him, he passed away. 3200 Rosehill Street. Yeah, Dees was, in my eyes, he was infamous. He had literally just came out on the scene in Philly, but he was hitting every main avenue with cojones, with balls of steel. All right, we're passing B in Westmoreland. 3200 block of Kip on my right. Now, all these little blocks, at one day or another, they were all busy little strips. Different eras from the 80s to the 90s to even the 2000s. Because like as late as 2000, we're passing Ella right now. As late as 2000s, right here on A in Westmoreland, was a busy avenue. I actually lost a friend from high school. Rest in peace, Wilson. Graduating class of 06. He passed away. He got killed right here on this corner. Now, A in Westmoreland, this corner was a hot block back in the day. Back in 03, 02, 04, 05, 06. It was a popular strip. Really popular corner. All right, let's cut up Water Street. Water has always been popular. This street right here, pretty much from all throughout North Philly, a lot of Water Street always been active. Water Street has always been active. Right here on Water, and I believe this is Ontario. Right here on Water and Ontario, this Primetime Sports Bar. I believe somebody who worked in it, that gentleman, that his face is on my left. I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch it, but he was killed right out front of the bar. This is A and Ontario, a really popular, still to this day, corner. It was buzzing back in the day. It was really popping back in the day, back in like the 90s and the 2000s. But it toned down a little bit, but it's still active. Ella Street, 3400 Ella, Kip. These are all, you know, known areas. There's literally, I've just driven by like several rest in peace boxes. They'll place a box on the corner where somebody was killed at. They'll put some candles and they'll put some teddy bears there in memory. And I just passed, in this neighborhood alone, probably 7 different in memory boxes. So now we're making a left right here on Tioga. This is Tioga Street, Tioga and Ella. The 200 block of East Tioga. A in Tioga, 3400 block of Tioga. Passing 3400 Water. This corner on my left-hand side was a pretty popular corner too, growing up. Lee Street on my left-hand side. So the way row homes and in the city, the way this grid style neighborhood works is most streets go up and down, up and down, up and down. But depending on what part of the city you're in, sometimes there'll be 2 streets that go up. Sometimes there'll be 3 streets that go up and you gotta, you know, take a long detour to get to where you wanna go. Sometimes they go up and down. Sometimes they're 2-way streets. So that's why this tour isn't through every single area, because in order to go through every single area, I may have to pass a spot more than once. And for your attention span and for mine, I don't wanna keep seeing the same thing over and over again. So hence why I'm, you know, taking little detours, but we're still making progress. Now, the area that we covered today is just one section of Philly. This does not stand for all of Philly. This does not. This is Hope Street right here. We're turning down Hope Street, left side of Hope Street. 3400 Hope. Now, this wouldn't be like, I don't want you guys to see this area and think that all of Philly is like this, but Philly's huge, man. Philly is huge, from Southwest Philly to West Philly to South Philly to North Philly to Northeast Philly to Center City. Some people wouldn't even consider Kensington North Philly. Some people back in the day would have considered Kensington Northeast Philly. Philly doesn't really have an east. East would be considered like Richmond or like the river, you know, by Camden. But, you know, the older people would have considered this area like Northeast Philly back in the day. But right now, it's, to me and to a lot of the residents, is considered the north side of the city. So North Philly. So you got this FedEx dude in a Penske rental truck in front of us. I guess they didn't give him a FedEx vehicle, so he had to rent a Penske truck. He just dropped off a package. He knocked on the door and drove off. Sometimes that's bad, because they can go right up to your package and pick it right. You see right there on the step? You can go and pick it right up. Then he's gonna drop another one off, literally feet away from the first location. Is he? Yep, he's going to drop off another package, guys. And that's how it is when you're in the city. It's a Walmart package. Oh, he's going to pop the trunk. Yeah, that thing is filled with packages. Tons and tons of packages. I think he's going to deliver, that's a TV. It looks like a TV. Yep, it's an Android TV. A Spectra Android TV. 32-inch. Wonder if it's for gaming. And that's a Walmart box. Wonder what's in the Walmart box. What if that's like an Xbox S and like a gaming TV? And no, he better not leave that out there on the steps. No way, Jose, not in this neighborhood. There's traffic behind me too, so the people behind me have no choice but to wait. It's usually like that in the city. Up, and he left the package. That was a TV, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, he left a TV. Somebody came to the door quick. Excellent, beautiful. They were smart. It was like, oh no, they was expecting that package. Cause you leave a TV and something that looks like an electronic out here, you might not be fortunate enough to come out and actually find it. Okay, let's see if he has any more packages to drop off on this block. Alright, so this corner right here is Hope and Ontario. Still a little active corner. They got a little fire right here on my right hand side in that trash can. You see it smoking? I guess they're burning wood to probably stay warm. They got chairs out there so they hang out. I'm trying to cross and people are genuinely about to run into me. Now, in front of the Penske vehicle, someone else is holding up traffic. You have to deal with that, not only with random people who want to hold conversations, but ice cream trucks, any type of delivery or moving services, pizza delivery, Uber. Since you're in the city and you're on a single street, you have no choice but to wait or to reverse. And most people don't really know how to reverse on tiny blocks like this. Look at the Penske guy had to stop again for another package. Can't blame him. He's trying to make a living. He's a young brother, young gentleman. Looks like he could be in his mid-20s, maybe even early 30s if he just has a young face. But he's out there grinding, doing what he has to do to make a living in these tough times. Yeah, he knocked on the door and the person came out. Look how tiny this block is. You have to drive on the sidewalk. On my left-hand side, this is a police district. This is the 25th and I believe 24th and 25th police district on my left. You see this building that's gated up? But it's abandoned. They closed it like in, I think, 2004, 2005, 2006. I don't know, but they closed it and they relocated it to Whitaker Avenue. So we're making a right on the 200 block of Westmoreland. Yeah, that was a police station located in the middle of this neighborhood. But now it's abandoned. It's been closed for probably an easy 15, 18 years, give or take. We're in the 3200 block of Howard and Westmoreland. Rest in peace. This is the block that my best friend, my lifelong friend, Walt, the one that I mentioned earlier, he lost his life on this block. Not only did he lose his life in this block, but he lost his life in his house on my left-hand side. The ramp that went up, that was his home. And he was killed inside of his home. So he wasn't even safe in his home. And 2 days later, he had a plane ticket to leave to California to work on a movie. Because he was in the film business too. And he was going to go work on a movie in California, but they took his life too soon. Alright, so we're passing Ontario. Rest in peace, Walt. Miss you, bro. Cramp school on my left. I could have named all the schools that we passed, but we're on Tioga Street. Tioga and Howard. Tioga and Howard. Alright, on my left-hand side, there seems to be a lot of construction going on in that neighborhood, so I'm gonna have to skip Tioga for like 2 or 3 blocks and just take Venango, like a little detour. We're on 100 Venango on my right and 199, which will be considered 200 Venango on my left. So if we make a left, we're gonna hit the 200 Venango Street. On my right hand side, these garages are like metal shops, welding, things of that nature. We're passing the 3500 block of Masher on my left hand side. That's Masher, but I don't want to go down there because it's going to lead me to a detour. Now we're passing 3500 Palethorpe Street, or what some people will call Palethorpe, but I call it Palethorpe. All right, we're on the 200 block of Glenwood Avenue. 2nd and Glenwood Avenue. Remember that street that I said was really popular earlier? It's a really busy street. That's it right in front of us. 2nd Street. And as you can see, all types of traffic drive down 2nd Street. You see all these cars? It's one of the fastest streets to help you get through the city. 2nd Street, 5th Street, Broad Street, those are like the main streets. Aramingo, etc., etc. So we're making a left down 2nd Street, and then I'm gonna make a right on Tioga. On my left hand side, we have Vega Signs. That's an older gentleman, probably in his 70s. He makes graphics, custom graphics for cars. You can pretty much replicate whatever you want, from logos to rest in peace graphics to business graphics. He does all types of vinyl work. Truck lettering, designs, banners, window lettering, decals, etc., etc. We're gonna make a right on the 200 block of Tioga. This is 2nd and Tioga. One of my best friends too, growing up. Me and him don't hang much anymore, you know, because he went his way and I went my way. He's in a relationship, and you know, some people get shacked up like that, but this is his hood, and I used to come and chill here too with him. This is probably a rough hood too, a little rough neighborhood, but I used to be out. I never really looked at them as rough growing up because it was home. It was like, I feel comfortable walking in any one of these neighborhoods. I don't feel tense, I don't feel worried. It's my neighborhood. So growing up, I didn't look at it as rough, but when you become an adult, you learn that people are afraid to come to these neighborhoods. People who are not from the neighborhood, they're, you know, we get stereotyped and they prejudge their neighborhood. So I learned that as an adult. So we have a little auto body / junkyard on my right. I never really utilized it much. I think I only went there once. Orianna Street on my left. We're not gonna go down Orianna. We're still on Glenwood. We have an abandoned factory on my right. And a lot of the abandoned factories, if they don't get rehabilitated and they stay abandoned, they end up being exploration spots where abandoned explorers will go explore. People may go live, you know, homeless people might go and live in them, stoop in them, or they end up being graffiti spots, like graffiti havens, places where graffiti artists will go to practice their graffiti and just explore. We're on 5th Street. 3300 block of 5th Street. Now on my left hand side, this would probably be one of the most busiest, or most, I would say the biggest corner in the city. It was classified on like a list of, I believe like in 06 or something, a list of like the top 20th drug corners in Philadelphia, PA. The corner I'm about to show you was number 1. 3300 block Fairhill Street. We're on the 3300 block of 6th Street now, 6th and Glenwood. Now we're gonna make a left on the 500 block of Westmoreland. My mom actually currently lives in this neighborhood. She lives like a block away from here. And shout out to my cousin, Ange Chavo, who's also a YouTuber, ANGECHAVO, that's his channel. He actually used to conduct business with the owner of this strip. He knows people from out here. He used to be out here too, running around when he was a youngster. This right here, 5th, is one of the biggest corners in the city as far as money making. 5th and Westmoreland. Yep. The owner of this block, whew, and he owns many buildings, and they're still out here conducting business. He has many people working for him. Now I don't know if it still holds the number 1 spot, because we know that Kensington and Allegheny became pretty bad, and Kensington and Somerset, and there's a lot of little avenues now that are runner-ups. But I know from a historical standpoint perspective, that was one of, or the biggest corner in the city. Now, remember I was talking about earlier that Philadelphia's big, that it's a huge city? Well, just imagine how bad that corner, how much money that corner had to make in order for it to be bigger than Southwest Philly, West Philly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it was $1 million corner. Some of these blocks could generate anywhere from $10,000 a day to $30,000 a day or more. It depends on what time of the month you actually come visit the neighborhood. Okay, I think we're gonna end up taking a left and we're gonna work our way towards quote unquote the Badlands. This would be considered the Badlands. We're not there yet, but if you keep going straight, you'll end up hitting Erie. You end up here hitting Huntington Park. We're on the 500 block of Tioga. 500 block of West Tioga. We're on Tioga and Sedgley. Tioga and Sedgley. Sedgley is home of one of Philly's artists who's actually really lyrical. Not many people know about him. His name is Goody Guns. I think his new name now is Sanchez. That's his new rap name. Shot a couple music videos for him. But that guy is gifted beyond belief. Think of like Eminem, Nas, and like Big Pun smushed into one. And that makes Sanchez. That he's super, super talented. I know this is his strip. He's been all around the city, but most recently, this is the strip that he was on. All right, so now we're on 6th and Sedgley. Let's keep on going straight. I was gonna go down 6th Street, but let's go straight and work our way towards the Badlands. We're passing Marshall, 3400 block Marshall Street. Now we're passing the 3400 block of 7th Street. If you would have made a right down 7th, you would have saw plenty of other corners that were active. There's active corners all throughout the city. South, west, north, east, etc., etc. However, some of the most active corners reside in North Philadelphia. All right, we're on 9th and Allegheny. Shout out to my homie Y Rico, Young Rico, Bike Star Rico. Y'all check out his YouTube channel, WHYRICO, Y Rico. He's an up and coming comedian, content creator, and he's sharp on pedal bikes. This is his hood. So we're gonna make a left right here. This is the 800 block of Sedgley that crosses right over to Allegheny. It merges into Allegheny. We have Glenwood Avenue, 700 block of Glenwood Avenue. We're now approaching what they call the Badlands. Now there's many different little teeny blocks that we can cut through here. We probably don't have time to go through them all today. Anybody who knows the city is gonna say I probably skipped a lot of corners, but the problem is there's not enough time in a day to cover every area of the city. So I can do my best just to take you guys to the hot spots that I know of and give you a little verbal tour. All right, so again, we are facing double parking. People blocking the street. This person might not even be in their vehicle. They might have left their vehicle in the street and they went inside the house. The tags are New York tags, New York Empire State. So either they just moved to the area, which I highly doubt, or they're here to pick up a family member. Oh, they are in the vehicle. So Maybe it's like Uber, maybe a New York Uber driver waiting for his client to come out, Lyft or something. I don't know. But at least they were courteous enough to move a lot sooner than the other guys. In some areas of the city, if you rush people, they'll look at you like you're in the wrong. This corner used to pop too. It depends on what time of the day you actually come out here. But it'd be a lot of young gentlemen out here, you know, conducting business. We're on 8th and Clearfield, Badlands. My cousin's actually out there on the right. And I have family that owns a house right here on the left. My mom used to live on this block too. Boy, my mom used to live on a lot of blocks in Philly. But yeah. Alright, so we're gonna make a right on East 800 block of Allegheny. That's 8th and Allegheny. Yeah, my cousin that we just passed, who was out there, I said he was on the right-hand side. I'm pretty sure that he's conducting business out there too. He's a veteran and he's been in the game for a real long time. And I don't think his ways have changed any time lately. Yeah, I grew up in this area too. I got a chance to explore a lot of areas in the city because for starters, my mom lived in a lot of different neighborhoods. And B, I like just roamed. I roamed freely. You know, I didn't really have anybody to stop me from learning about my neighborhood. So I went out and I explored as a teen. Some kids stood inside playing video games. I wasn't huge at gaming when I was a teenager. I was a gamer when I was like in my single digits, 8, 9, maybe like 10, 11. 12, probably like 13, 14, but by the time I got into like my 15, 16 set, I was running the streets. I was exploring and, you know, learning about my hood, building relationships. So we're gonna take this yellow ever so slightly across 6th Street. We're passing Reese. Passing 5th Street, 5th and Clearfield. Now we're passing Orianna. Now we're gonna get back into some activity. This neighborhood is also known for activity. You can see more activity in the little tiny blocks, but we're not gonna go through it. On my right, I would have went through my right, but the block's closed, all because they're doing some work in the middle of the street. That's a pretty active block. A lot of these little blocks are active. Surprisingly enough, the Hispanic neighborhoods are the ones with a lot of the activity. Absolutely. There's not only just Hispanics out there distributing product, because it'd be African American brothers too out there distributing product, and the occasional Caucasian brother, if he grew up in the hood and he grew up with the homies, he'll be out there working too, and, you know, working on the block. But the neighborhood with the most activity is the Spanish neighborhoods. All right, we're passing 300 Indiana, 4th and Indiana. This is a historic neighborhood right here. There's actually a book written about this corner right here. I live to tell about it. I forgot the author's name. He's now a pastor, but he was a gang member. He was a drug lord, and he was from this neighborhood. And the book was the most intriguing book I ever read in my life. It was so intriguing that I actually finished it. And I don't finish many books in my life, but it was actually a chapter book. And I finished it and I loved it, and it told me a lot about this neighborhood and the days when he used to run the streets in the 80s. And yeah, really, really interesting book. And it talks about this neighborhood and, you know, the history behind it. That CRV just ate the stop sign. He had no care for us whatsoever. There was also a big drug dealer back in the day named Reds that used to be in this neighborhood. But he ended up doing, I think, an RT, like one of those British European interview YouTube videos. It was on YouTube. He was on TV, and I think they came and they did an interview on him, and shortly after he was indicted. Yeah, right after that interview he was indicted. So I don't know who owns this neighborhood now, but usually every neighborhood in the city has an owner. So, you know, the owner may own 1 strip, 2 strip, 3 strip. I don't know, you know, what's the maximum strip, you know, these owners have. I don't know, you know, how many they have under their belt, but, you know, you do the mathematics. If 1 strip can make you $10K a day, or you have a $10,000 a day strip, then you have, you know, an $8,000 a day strip, then you might have a $25,000 a day strip, but then you multiply that by several strips, you can imagine what type of money these guys, the big guys, are bringing in on like a weekly / monthly basis. And just to sum it up for some of you who don't know, what some of these guys make, now, I said it earlier, not everybody that's standing outside is a dealer. Like myself, when you live in the neighborhood, you just want to hang outside of your house. And just because they have a hoodie and they look urban, like myself, doesn't mean they're up to no good. But me being a lifelong resident, I can usually tell who's who, you know what I mean? So when you're from the neighborhood, you kind of got a better grasp on what's going on versus from when you're not in the neighborhood. If you come from out of the neighborhood and you see 20 guys standing on the corner, you're going to be confused. But if you're from the neighborhood and you go to a certain neighborhood and you see 20 guys standing on the corner and you know the neighborhood, you'll go, oh, those 20 guys are about to go play football. Because you know that they're not up to no good. Or you can tell those 20 guys are about to get it in and do something they probably shouldn't do. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Let's go straight. Now, again, I passed several plus potential corners that we could have went through, but it's only so much time in the day, guys. But if this is something that you guys seem interested in, genuinely interested in, if the numbers reflect interest and you guys want more of this, I don't mind, you know, doing, you know, a couple of these a month. Alright, so we're passing Lehigh Avenue. Lehigh Avenue is really where this whole tour started. That building on my right hand side, now it's a projects or like a housing apartment complex. But back in the day, it was CHOP. I believe it was St. Christopher's Hospital, like a children's center, children's hospital. But now it's like an apartment. I think low income apartment. This park on my left hand side, I have roots in this neighborhood. The roots that I have is my pop used to run that store right there. My uncles, my pop, and my grandpa. My grandpa bought it, and my pop was running the store back in the day. So that was my pop's store. It was actually called JR Grocery Store. Yeah, back in the day. And then if we go to my right hand side, let's go to my right. My pop had that store. My pop's cousin, which was my second cousin, had this restaurant on my right hand side. I grew up in this restaurant on my right hand side. And then my pop's other cousin, she was married to the owner of that. So you can say that he was like a second cousin also. So my other second cousin owned that. You see that Code Beer on my left hand side? So this little strip right here, I have some roots there. But that first store that was called JR Grocery Store, the one that I said that my pop ran back in the day before I was born, that's the store that he met my mother. So if it wasn't for that store and him meeting my mother when he was operating that store, I probably wouldn't have been born. Or if I would have been born, I probably wouldn't be myself. I'd be a completely different person with a completely different backstory if I had a different mother. Or if he didn't have me and I just didn't exist. All right, we're going passing Reese. I would have went down Reese, but let me take you to, now this neighborhood right here, 2500 Fairhill. If you go down to my left, you'll end up hitting Drama's neighborhood, Oskino, Vasquez. You'll end up hitting You go down a little bit more, you'll see Meek Mill's corner where he, you know, comes out occasionally and chill. Go down a little bit more, around Marshall, you'll see Freeway's neighborhood, Philadelphia Freeway. Blessings to his family. You know, my condolences. He just lost a son recently. Philadelphia Freeway. I grew up listening to you, sir. This is Marshall. This corner right here. This neighborhood in general is not so much of a Spanish neighborhood, but it's more of an African-American, a predominantly African-American neighborhood. There's a few Mexican Rob's actually memorials on my left-hand side. That's actually where he lived. His people, not where he lived, but he had people like his family actually lived on that house right there. So there's actually a Mexican Rob memorial right there in that corner. But this is another spot, like another neighborhood that not only is there, you know, activity, but there's a lot of shootings. This neighborhood right here in particular, I'm going to take you to a corner that has an exaggerated amount of shootings. We're passing 2600 Darien right here, guys. This corner right here, 9th and Huntington, several times a year, whether it's morning, whether it's in the afternoon, or whether it's night, people are shot or killed here. Right here on this corner. There was even, right up the block, there was a female and I believe 2 other gentlemen who were executed in the basement of the home. People ran in the house, executed them in the basement, execution style, and then left them in the basement. And they were found in the basement, murdered. We have Cumberland, 800 block of Cumberland. This turns into a one-way. A little cheap Germantown gas station on my right. We're gonna make a right down Germantown Avenue. You see the trolley tracks on the ground. We're on the 1000 block of Cumberland. We're passing 10th Street. 10th Street merges right here. It's weird. This is one of those angle blocks where the orientation of the city starts to shift a little bit. This is Germantown and Huntington. Germantown wasn't always this colorful. I believe it was an initiative to brighten up the community. Germantown was a business district. As you can see on the left and the right hand side, you'll see plenty of businesses. Many of them are closed down. Some are still open. But they basically did this colorful theme, I believe, to uplift the community. Because this is another community that's experienced years of oppression. Germantown Ave. Now, as you can see, we have a bus in front of us. The 23 bus is having trouble turning. It came from the 1100 of West Huntington Street, and it was making a left, and that Honda Pilot on the corner is parked on the no parking zone that says no parking from 3 to 8, directly parked on it, and the bus had trouble turning. Passing Oakdale. A lot of these businesses were looted. After the looting, they completely went out of business. They weren't able to open back up because most of these were mom and pop shops. These aren't big commercial franchises. Back on Lehigh Avenue, passing Hutchison. Now we're passing 9th Street. 9th and Lehigh Avenue, 2700 block of 9th Street, 900 block of Lehigh. On the next block on my left-hand side, you guys will see a Save-A-Lot, Family Dollar, a Snipes, a Burger King. That's a new plaza that they made several years ago. On that plaza was actually my middle school, the middle school that I graduated from in 2002. It was called Julio de Burgos Bilingual Middle Magnet School. It's on my left, right there where you see the Burger King and all that. Not my elementary school, my middle school was actually located right there. But they knocked it down and they turned it into another commercial complex. On my left-hand side, that big building is a library. You see it right there? It looks kind of like Roman. The guy in front of us just cut us off in the Maxima. No signal to cut us off, but he put a signal to turn the corner. The right-hand side, we have Dunkin' Donuts. A bunch of small little mom and pop shops on my left and my right-hand side. Passing Reese Street, we pass Fairhill Street. This is 2700 Reese. On my left-hand side, you'll see a Speedway Gas Station. That Speedway Gas Station tends to have a bunch of teenagers, several plus teenagers, like 10, 11, 12 of them hanging out there daily, asking for change and asking to pump your gasoline. Now that's a new thing. Back in the day, it was only homeless people, you know, substance abuse users, etc., that would be at the gas station asking to pump your gas so that they can generate some change to go get their next fix. However, in 2020 and in 2019, and I think it all started in probably like 2018, maybe 2017, but I know 2018, 2019 for sure, there was groups that just started hanging out there, all teens, as young as I've seen like 10, 11, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. I think I've seen as old as like 18-year-olds hang out there and ask for change, ask to pump your gas. I don't know what they use the money for, but they absolutely do. Hang out there and ask to pump gas. Shout out to my homie Nick from this block. Nick and the gang, 2500 block. This is 2500 Lawrence. 2500 Lawrence Street. That guy didn't bother stopping. He completely ate the stop sign in the Impala. Shout out to Drama. This is Drama's block, the musician. This is a poppin' active corner too, or active strip. Maybe that's why he was in a rush. He was in a rush to make it to the strip. 400 block of York. If we make a right over here, we'll end up passing Drama. We'll pass his little hood. We just passed his block. Orkney, I got family that lives right here on Orkney. We're on the 2300 block of 5th Street, 5th and York. As you can see, there's a patrol unit parked right here in the corner. They tend to park patrol units on corners that have a history of violence. So if you ever see a patrol unit on a corner, it's not there for drugs. It's there because it has a history of violence, of shootouts. Passing Reese. Drama be hanging out on my left-hand side. If I'm correct, Oshkino Vasquez too, from this neighborhood. We're gonna make a left on 6th Street. Driving down 2300 block of 6th Street. We just hit 6th and Dolphin. We have some affordable housing on the right-hand side. passing Reese on Reese and Dauphin. Now we're on 5th and Dauphin, 2300 block of 5th Street. Now we're passing Orkney in front of us. If we keep on going straight, that's the elementary school that I went to. But we're not gonna go straight because it's a dead end. Now we're driving down Orkney. A lot of these blocks, you see that they're empty or abandoned. See, a lot of vacant properties. I promise you, because it has already begun, I promise you that within 10 years, these will all be completely habitated or rehabilitated homes. They'll be, they will build homes, and each and every single one of these lots, all the lots on my right, I promise you, in 10 years or less, they'll all be filled with homes. Investors are coming to the community and buying those lots, buying the address. I believe the addresses, some of them are like 40 feet long by like 12 feet wide. That's what most row homes are nowadays. They'll buy the address, the slot, the vacant lot, and then they'll invest, 60, 70 grand maybe to build the home. Like on my right, there's a huge building right there that was just building a lot. They'll buy the lot for probably 5, 10, 15 grand, abandoned lot. Then they'll go and they'll invest maybe 50 to 100 grand to build the house. That's between, labor and materials. And then, that's probably like an initial $75,000 investment. Then they'll go and mark the house up for $150,000, $250,000, $300,000 or more, depending on the zip code. We're on Lawrence. We're passing Lithgow. This block of Lithgow on my right-hand side, Meek Mill. When I used to work in this school on my left-hand side, Meek Mill used to hang out here on the corner. And yeah, this was the spot where he would come and hang out. Lou Racing Garage was on that block, so he used to have his Banshee. His Iron Man Banshee was stored in Lou Racing Garage. I don't know how often he comes and hangs out in this neighborhood, but this was one of his chill spots, chilling corners. And mind you, this corner is probably 3 minutes from where I grew up at. PD Crack used to be from this block and from 3rd Street. PD Crack, not many people know of him, but he was a rapper that was signed to Rock Nation at one point. Yeah, this was where he used to be from. And Bold, shout out to the homie Bold, Burkside 215. This is Bold's neighborhood, who's also another musician and graffiti artist. This block right here is where a lot of history started at for me. This is where I shot one of my biggest bike life videos. This is where it started at. If you go on my channel, click to most popular uploads, you'll see the most popular upload started right here. From the garage where Meek Mill stored his Banshee. On my right hand side, that garage, where the classic car is at, yeah. This is where it all started. And Meek pretty much used to chill out here. Some people say he's from, South Philly. Some people say he's from North. Well, when he comes to North, this is one of the corners that he touches base and visits. He has homies out here. All these houses on my left and my right, they were made within the last 8 to 9 years. You see that really tall one on my right? That's an example of a lot that was once a lot. You see how tall it is? Then they go and build that new home in it. They come with, fully furnished, brand new out the box, central air, central heat, roof decks, beautiful, brand new homes. And then they'll, like I said, I told you the mathematics earlier, they'll do a little small investment, they'll double, triple their money, and that home will be for sale for $325,000 in this neighborhood. And people will be more than happy to buy it. Look at the screen. Look at my left-hand side. Take a look at the next block. You see that tall building right there on my left-hand side behind the available sign? You see it? Because I'm not going to go to it. But you see that block right there? That house, that's another example of them building brand new houses and in a lot. This is American Street. American Street has been gentrified the last year or two. Heavy. So this was once a wide open, from corner to corner. You can cross the street and it'd be completely wide, nothing in the center. They just built this whole little grass strip in the middle. They removed the train tracks. They built this little bike lane, and they confined it to one avenue, to one little strip now. You see this giant lot on my right-hand side? This giant lot on my right-hand side was a scrapyard. It was a scrapyard for many, 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 many years. But the scrapyard's been closed. So to my knowledge, I think that the scrapyard was also sold. Some investors probably bought it, and they probably have something in mind to build there. We make a right over here. We're making a right on Burke Street. You see another patrol unit there. But now he's not there because this is a popular shooting corner. He's there, he's either on break or he's trying to catch people eating stop signs or speeding up American Street or something, because there's no shootings on that corner right here. Now let's go through this block right here, 3rd and Burks. We're on the 1800 block of Orianna Street. I'm gonna make a right. You see all these new houses in front of me? These were lots. These were empty, abandoned, vacant lots. Now on my left and on my right, this complete block was empty. I did a vlog 2 years ago coming on this block. Literally, I passed this block probably 2 minutes later, or I got held back 2 minutes at home before I came through this block. And luckily, those 2 minutes that held me behind, somebody got killed on this block. And I passed through it right after they got killed. They were shot dead here. This was all empty, left and right, less than 2 years ago. But now, as you can see, brand new homes, brand spanking new brick pointing, new brickwork, new insulation, new shingles, new everything, new facade. The facade of this house on the left looks like it's falling off. They did a horrible job. This house on the left, if you zoom in, I don't know if you guys are able to zoom in, but the bricks, they're like falling forward. And that's a brand new home. They haven't even did the steps yet, but it goes to show you. And then these houses on the right, you see these little 2-story houses? They're the OG residents. They're the original residents that's been around here forever. And now they got new neighbors. And a lot of these neighbors come from, look at Delaware. The Mercedes-Benz, Delaware. This Fiat, Delaware. So they literally came from Delaware. They call this the Orianna Terrace. 9 4-story, 4-bedroom homes, master suites, etc., etc. Wow. Yeah, the person got shot and killed right here next to this pole. And I literally had missed it by minutes, by like 2 minutes. I had missed it. If I would have been 2 minutes sooner, I would have probably been caught in the controversy. All right, so we're gonna take a left right here through the 1900 block of 4th Street. If I go right, we'll end up going into Freeway's neighborhood. Philadelphia Freeway, his old stomping grounds. Now technically, most of these Philly artists that I'm, tying them to a neighborhood, they don't just stay to that neighborhood. They're like me, they usually travel all of Philly. But those are the neighborhoods that they're, most known for, the hangout spots. And as you can pay attention to, you'll see this neighborhood right now is getting gentrified. So they're dropping new buildings left and right, like little boxes. They're dropping them everywhere. We're on 5th and Burks, 1800 5th Street, 400 West Burks. This neighborhood is receiving a lot of gentrification, a lot of new. The light just turned green and the people behind me immediately beeped. Some people are like that too. They'll go above and beyond to rush you. Yep, he's about to fly by me, even though it's a red light. Yeah, I guess he's in a rush to go to the supermarket, maybe. There's a supermarket on my right-hand side. That supermarket's been several different things over the years. Now it's a Cousins, I think, right? Still a Cousins? Yeah, it's still a Cousins. But it's been like Browns. It's been like a whole bunch of other things. You'll get new houses on my left. I like that little pop-up shed, that blue one on my left. Looks pretty neat. Building on my right. That was abandoned for many years. I adored that building. That red building, I adored it. I would love a building like that. I would genuinely love and live in a building just like that. And they sold it. I think they sold it last year. It was for sale for a couple years, but you know, for a building like that, they ain't gonna want cheap. Probably $500,000 or more, even in the poor condition that it's in. But just because of the size, the square foot, the land you're buying, and then the zip code, you know, because when you get to the so what I showed you guys some of the 19133 and I think 19134, depends. I didn't pay attention. But where we're at now, we crossed over Susquehanna. And once you cross over Susquehanna, you're in the 19122 area code. So the 19122 area code is a little bit more costly than the 19133. Even though the 19133, it depends on what parts of 19133 you're at too. Because some 19133 homes sell for 140,000, 180,000, 200,000, while some 19133 homes sell for 30,000, 35,000, 45,000, 50, 60,000, even as low as 15,000, depending on what part of 19133 you're in. Now, when you cross over to 19122, the houses automatically jump to 200,000, 250,000, 350,000, and so on. And closer you get to Girard Avenue, then the houses end up going to be 400, 500,000. And the closer you get to the heart of the city, you're talking about $700,000, $800,000, $1 million per home in the city, if not more. And you'll notice there's these modern houses dropped in every single slot. On my left, on my right, on my left, on my right, you'll see them back to back. Brand new homes just dropped in, and you can usually tell that they're brand new because of the stylization. They don't usually follow the same zoning code. I don't understand that, because I know some neighborhoods are really strict on zoning, and all these new houses, they're not following any specific zoning code. They are designing them however they want. I've seen rusty homes, like literally the whole stylization of the home is rusty. You look at the front of the home, it's metal, it's been rained on, and they allow it to get that rust look. I've seen some funky looking brand new homes. They be brand new, but they're funky looking. Look at on my left, they use like 3 materials for the front: blue, burgundy. They use like some tan material. Then they make them look like so feng shui, so weird, so strange. One of my cousins that passed away, Marshall, this was his block. And freeways, you know, from this neighborhood. Marshall, 6th Street, 7th Street, Burks, etc., etc. And look, right in the middle of the block on my right-hand side, boom, they dropped a brand new home. Again, on the right-hand side, look at, boom, they're working on a brand new home. On the right-hand side, boom, there's 2 more brand new homes. See them? Brand new. And a lot of those residents come from, I'm telling you, not only Delaware, they come from Jersey, they come from Florida, they come from California, they come from Nevada, they come from Texas, they come from Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina. I've seen tags from all over America come here to live in Philadelphia. Some people go, why would you want to live there? I would never move my family there. There must be a reason for everybody coming here, because there's many people moving here. That block that we just passed, we're on Diamond Street, Marshall and Diamond. That block that we just passed with all of those colorful houses, they were made probably like 18 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, maybe in 98, 99 or something, I don't know. But there's like affordable housing complex. You usually have to like sign up, be on a list to get those brand new houses. But as time goes, they tend to age. And they don't age too well, because they do a specific stylization that's based on the era that the house was made in. And then fast forward, you know, 15, 20 years pass by and the houses look really dated. One of my favorite homes, or some of my favorite style of home, is a row home. The brickwork, that style, that just clean, plain row home brick. Or you can use the colorful bricks. I've seen people use, like on my left-hand side, boom, this is a good example. They use like more burgundy bricks, like darker, or like green, burgundy. It's like different shades of black bricks. As long as it's a brick pointed style and it's clean brick, I usually like it. All right, guys, so we're on 5th and Diamond Street. This is going to conclude today's tour. If you guys enjoy this type of stuff, comment below. Let me know if you enjoy it. You guys will let me know you enjoy it by hitting that thumbs up button and by blowing up my comment section. If you genuinely really enjoyed it, feel free to share this video with one friend. Share it on one social network. Click share. It takes 1 second, guys. You don't have to donate $1 to me for using gas, or you don't have to donate cents to me for the wear and tear on my vehicle. The way you can make a small donation is simply sharing the video. If you don't want to share it, simply donate a thumbs up. That will go a long way into helping not only the video become visible, but it'll help me continue to create content like this. All right, guys? My name is Toon Dollars, and I'm reporting out. Peace, y'all. Be safe.